Hey guys, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So first and foremost, I've reached 1,000 subscribers. So I just wanted to thank everyone who subscribed. This is a really cool milestone and stuff for me. So very cool on that end. Also, info for personal readings are in the description box. If you would like to know more about that, I have a Calendly page and all that set up if you enjoy this reading and you want to purchase one of those. So let's get into the reading. So today's reading is going to be what will happen with your crush. We're going to be looking at the trends of this connection, kind of going over if it's favorable to pursue them or trying to find out if they like you back or not, that kind of thing. So we're just going to be getting the general gist of your crush and where the winds are blowing, so to speak. So without further ado, let's get in and look at the crystals. So I actually finally found out what the name of this crystal is. I don't know if you've been watching my channel for a while. I used to call this the cyan stone, but this is called Hemimorphite. So this is Hemimorphite, or we can call it cyan stone still, but its actual name is Hemimorphite. And then we have Prehnite right here. That's for group 2. Then for group 3, we have Amethyst. Group 4, we have Rose Quartz. And group 5, we have Blue Lace Agate. So you can take all the time you need to pick your crystal. You can pause the video here if you need to. Sometimes it helps to take a few deep breaths and get yourself grounded and centered and then pick your crystal. But really, there's no wrong way to pick your crystal. So, and once you've picked it, we'll move on with the reading. All right, let's move on the reading, starting with group number 1, the Hemimorphite. Okay, group number 1, let's get into your reading. So I'm bringing out the old Numerology cards. Take this one. And some of the Wisdom of Oracle cards. I'm just getting some Oracle cards to add a little bit of variety for this reading, but mainly I'm going to be reading off of tarot cards. So what will group 1's crush think of them? Okay. Let's try to get 3 more. And I think we'll have to draw the last one. Okay. So I'm going to put this over here. Okay, so what I'm getting, first of all, right off the bat, is that this person probably would like you. But there's some interesting things here. So let's get into it. So take time to breathe out and TikTok basically just means that like this person probably makes you feel like you have to kind of like hurry up or move kind of quite quickly in like proceedings with them, in dealings with them. If you already know them, you haven't expressed your feelings, you might feel like a little bit of pressure, but you also might really, really like them. Well, obviously you like them because they're your crush. But yeah, so you might feel a little bit of pressure with this person, that you might have to make decisions quickly, or, you know, that like time is not on your side. But what we're seeing here with the Wheel of Fortune and TikTok, both with these circles representing aspects of this timing thing, we definitely see here that time is on your side. Like, in fact, the slower you go, or the more you wait for the appropriate time is the best way to put it. It might not be the slowest time, but when the time feels right. And I think you're going to know what this timing feels like If you have been ignoring it, the cards are urging you, especially to take time to breathe out, to like take a few deep breaths and just feel the moment, right? The time will be right when you should approach them. What we see with the Ace of Cups here, the first thing that when this card flew out of the deck, the first thing I noticed was like, oh, this is a good connection. This is a solid like flow of love. So the fact that you guys might not have developed your connection yet, but there's the chemistry is there to develop a good flow of love and reciprocation with each other. It's just mainly it's focused on timing. With the Two of Swords right here, this represents kind of that impasse or that hesitancy where you're weighing two options or you're keeping a situation quite balanced. Sometimes it can represent overthinking and not making the choice. But what I'm getting from this one right here is that there's an aspect of waiting for the right time, again with Wheel of Fortune and TikTok for this person. What we see here is this swan waiting on top of this perch, and there's a heart with strings cut off, right? So basically this swan's kind of like the guardian to this heart, and you have to kind of wait till the swan flies away before you can cut down this heart and claim it for yourself. So this might be also a situation where this person might have some people around them or someone very protective that's kind of might be getting in the way of your situation. There might be aspects where the timing has to do with like approaching them at the right time, depending on who they're around. That could be a thing. With King of Swords here, we definitely see that this person is more ruminative. Like they definitely take time to think things through and they're very logical. But at the same time, like you want to approach them at the right time. That's a big thing that's coming through, especially with TikTok and Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune upright just shows that time is on your side. And so the more time you take, almost the more the relationship will ripen. TikTok, when it first came out, I thought it necessarily meant hurrying, like you should hurry up and do it. But then when Wheel of Fortune came out, I definitely got the idea that you should take your time, and especially with Two of Swords, that came out too. So with both of those contradictory messages, like hurrying and also taking your time, really what it is trying to tell you is to follow the correct timing of the situation. The Chariot right here just represents that this relationship will definitely take off, and there'll be a lot of momentum once that correct timing is discovered. And it's interesting, there's a crab just below the surface of the water holding up this little light. So it's almost like I'm imagining like this crab being a little trap, and as soon as the chariot rolls over this crab, it's going to get illuminated with all of this light. Imagine like a crystal, and you don't know there's a crystal below your feet, but you walk over it, like say you're walking through a forest and you walk over this giant quartz crystal below your feet, and all of a sudden you can feel the energy, you can feel the catalyst and the flow. This crab in this picture is kind of like that catalyst, you know, with that little light in his crab claw thingies. And so when that chariot rolls through this person, that's the time where it's going to be. But with the Ace of Cups here, I'm definitely seeing a positive situation with this person. I'm definitely seeing that they would like you back. They're definitely open to a relationship, but there might be an aspect where they could be really busy all the time, or they could just kind of like value time management. So it could be one of those things where you don't want to encroach on them at a specific time when they're like maybe busy or swamped with something. You know, it's trying to find that right appropriate time to approach them. And that's more of the fact of like, I know there's chronos, which is clock time, which is kind of like gauging the time on a clock, but there's what is it called? Chronos and chronos? Kairos, I think is what it's called, where you like wait for the right time to act. And that's just kind of like being patient. If you think of like something hunting its prey, like a tiger, it's about lying in wait, and then when the correct moment happens, making your move. So definitely, if you're already thinking that, if you're waiting for the correct moment, that's definitely the right thing to think about with this person. This person's definitely interested in you. But I'm sensing an aspect that they're kind of oblivious in a way to you until you make them yourselves known to them, right? Take time to breathe out's really important because it's talking about being calm when you approach them, being like in a very calm state of mind, right? We see that they're a very rational person and they're kind of thoughtful and ruminative. So in order to get on their kind of cerebral level, right, you're going to have to calm your own mind and approach them in a calm, very calm fashion. If you want to like predispose them very well to you when you first interact with them. It's interesting, this was supposed to be just about if your crush liked you back or not, but what we're getting here is a method to approach them, which I take as a yes. You know, if the cards are showing you a method to approach them, they're pointing you in the right way for a reason, you know? So Yeah, and then with this Two of Swords, you might have to wait till their little protector is away from their heart before you can make your move. So yeah, that was the reading. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, and subscribe to my channel. I post pick cards like this pretty frequently. With that said, we're going to move on to the next reading, the Prehnite with group number 2. Hey, group number 2, this is if you picked the Prehnite stone. It's honestly, Prehnite is a wonderful stone to calm obsessive thoughts. If you ever feel like you're just too... Should we take both of these? Oh, okay. So let's see. Oh, that's some interesting contradictions right there. Let's see what's going on. But yeah, Prehnite is basically a stone to like really ease and calm the mind in a tight spot. Take this one. You know, sometimes when you're doing readings, you think the reading's going to go one way, and then some cards just flip out, and you're like, what is going on? You know, I always like to, sometimes I'll do readings where I'll take the cards as I go through the reading. I'll draw as I go through. But for the most part, it's good to see how the whole thing lays out, to see the interactions between everything and what all of that is doing in your reading. So let me see. I think everything's in the camera. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that this person, well, first of all, with building blocks, I'm definitely getting a sign that this person is more of like a work acquaintance. And I definitely see that again here with the Nine of Wands, that this person is someone that maybe you either work with or that is a work-related acquaintance. And you have kind of been pining for them for a long time. The Nine of Wands also talks about being at some post for too long. The guy's bandaged and bruised on the post. He hasn't even, it's almost like he's barely patched himself up and hasn't even gone to the doctor. He hasn't rested, right? So he's just kind of been stuck there at this post for a very long time, And this Nine of Wands in particular, I'm noticing a whole bunch of group of people with lots of stabs or wands in the background. And he's riding, what is this animal? Is this a fox? I think it's a fox. He's riding like a giant fox, which is kind of a cool imagery. I'm definitely seeing that this person, there might be a work acquaintance. You might have more people at work around you, usually. With the Nine of Wands, a lot of people that have been there for a really long time. But it looks as if you really have a crush on this person. And it's been a long time since you've thought about approaching them. It's almost like with nothing will come of this situation, that when you, how do I put this? When you would try to approach them, something would get in the way. It's always something getting in the way of you trying to make a connection with this person. You really like them, but something's always getting in the way. At the same time with Page of Cups here, if you look at this image of this woman, she's inhaling these fumes from this bowl, right? I'm definitely seeing that in this particular reading is them being very intoxicating to you, almost not good for you. They kind of make you high in a way that is kind of dulls your senses or kind of makes you off your kilter, off guard. But we also see with the Sun here that this is a very happy connection, right? That this person definitely brings you a lot of joy. So there's a little double-edged sword right here with Page of Cups and the Sun, because on one hand we have that these intoxicating fumes from this person are making you kind of going crazy. But on the other hand, you have some really just relaxed times where both of you are really, really happy. It seems like when you're trying to make a romantic connection out of this, I'm seeing that there's issues or there's problems. There's just some kind of trouble between the situation. It makes sense that you picked Prehnite, because when I was talking about it being kind of a stone to ease obsessions or intensified thoughts and stuff like that, this would be a good stone to look into for this particular situation, because this person has been driving you mad. It almost seems with how much you like them and how much they could be flirting with you, but maybe not taking it seriously. With building blocks here, I'm definitely saying that this is definitely meant to be a professional relationship. It's not meant to lead anywhere into the romantic sphere. I don't think that this reading is basically, urging you not to approach them basically, because it's almost like I see them basically like toying with your emotions a little bit, not really consciously or like they mean to, but they're just that's kind of the effect that they have on you, you know? And so that's not necessarily the healthiest effect for a relationship. I'm sure for some people maybe it is, but for this particular pile, it's urging you to like focus on other things, especially when we get to the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Cups right here. Because we're getting a situation where it's like you're going to take this work situation and make it work to your advantage. With the energy is gaining momentum, that is just talking about how like this has been building up in you for a long time. Like this crush that you have on this person has been like slowly building within you for quite some time. And you're kind of almost at the breaking point where you're like, what do I do about this person? Like I like them and they're showing me all these signs, but I don't know what to do, you know? And that's partly because like the Nine of Wands just shows us such a prolonged period of time of like enduring hardships, right? And in this situation, it's not totally hardships. We have the Sun and the Page of Cups. So it's an intoxicating, kind of surprising energy that keeps getting thrown at you, but is not going anywhere, right? Because we have nothing will come in this situation. Here's the solution right down here. So Queen of Swords, when I read Queen of Swords, it's always about what society values. You know, the Queen always has a hand outstretched to the winds, and in the background, if you notice in the traditional tarot, the winds are blowing in the direction of her hand. She's literally showing you the way with the trends of the times, or the trends of thoughts, or the trends of like the mind, basically. So what we're seeing here with the Queen of Swords is basically some information to basically just like go with the flow. You see here she's releasing like these, I think they're moths, or an eagle is up there. She's definitely releasing these butterflies or these creatures out with her hand into the air around her, going with the flow. So this is kind of what's going to be happening with you. Every once in a while, you're just going to like, it's almost like the more you follow the flow or the pattern around you, and what's happening around you, just noticing patterns and trends of what other people are doing and where people are going, and kind of getting into that stream with them. There's almost like an aspect, and especially with these purple flowers right here. Actually, I don't know what they're called, but they're reminding me of the crown chakra. And the crown chakra is all about like getting you in the flow of the universe, right? That's kind of like divine guidance or divine direction, where you're kind of like on your path and you know you're being guided, and that's kind of what's going to get you out of the situation with this person. And then Nine of Cups just shows that once you get into this mindset, this state of fulfillment, that it's going to be, first of all, you're going to be self-sustained. And second of all, with the traditional Nine of Cups, meaning it's like the wish come true card, you're going to be able to manifest a little bit better. It's not like the Magician or a kind of manifestation card where it's like incredible manifestation right away, but you're definitely going to be able to like have a few wishes and have them come true, you know? This person, in a sense, as much fun as they are, I'm definitely seeing there's so much fun with the Sun card. There's like this, it's just a stuck energy. There's just a stuck energy. It's not going anywhere. And so it's the cards are urging you to kind of like focus on not only yourself, but other people around you. There might be some aspect of tunnel vision in this case, of like kind of focusing too much on this one other person and not noticing that other people around you is equally like as entertaining as this Sun card, or as equally as intoxicating, you know, or like just spreading the attention around could actually kind of help this situation, you know. And I definitely see with building blocks that this connection is definitely like supposed to be a work connection for sure. So yeah, definitely try to focus your energy on following the trends around you. And the Nine of Cups, that's like Nine of Cups, the wishes will just come true basically. So yeah, that was your reading. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this pretty frequently. With that said, we're going to move on to group 3 with the Amethyst cluster. Hi group 3, this is if you picked the Amethyst cluster. So this will be your reading. Shuffling on camera today. So let's see, what will group 3's crush think of them? This card comes out a lot in readings, actually. You've probably seen it a few times on my channel if you've browsed through some of the videos. Okay, let's see. What will group 3's person? Ah, this card again. I say that because this card popped out in the last group's reading too, so. Let's see. All right, let's get into it. So, like the other group, this building block cards came up, and I'm definitely seeing it in the same light as the other group, like showing me a work situation, like this person, you might know them through a work environment or through some kind of coworker thing, or even through a collaborative project if you're working on any kind of like creative project and like you have a partner in the creative project and they're helping you. I'm definitely seeing that you're quickly finding out that this person you have a crush on, there's like a definite balance to this situation, like a very strong, this is a very strong connection. So I guess there's some information that needs to be brought up for right now, but this reading is basically just urging you that this is a connection worth waiting for, okay? So balance, spirituality, and practicality. It's just showing you that there is a balance between both of you. And specifically, one of you might be a spiritual person and the other one might be a more practical person. So the interesting thing about this card with that is that these fish kind of swim around each other. So it's almost as if you offer them spiritual advice, they process it, and then they offer you practical advice, and then you process it, and so on and so forth. So far, this has only been showing up in a working partnership where you guys are kind of just working together. But let's get into the tarot cards and I'll show a little bit more of the stuff. So we have double confirmation. We have the Two of Cups and the Lovers, both incredibly strong relationship cards, right? Two of Cups just represents this kind of like connection that, how do I put it? And both of these cards are like in embraces, right? They're both in embraces. They're very similar. So the Lovers, we have them in an embrace right here. And this is almost like a wedding. This reminds me of a wedding ring with these birds right here with the, I don't know if you guys can see that, with the birds right there with the ribbon and the ring right there. Lovers represents like a once in a lifetime kind of like love, at least in this reading. And Two of Cups represents kind of like that's where the crush part comes into play. It's almost like right now, both of you have crushes on each other. So if you don't know, or if they don't know that you have a crush on them, or you don't know if they have a crush on you, the information that I'm getting is that it's definitely a connection where there's like strong chemistry. However, don't get excited too quickly because we also have the moon right here, right? And this sun above the Lovers is kind of like the bright future, or it's kind of like the dawn of night when the sun comes up and shines on both of you and you guys can be like totally happy and like successful as a couple and stuff like that. But the moon right here represents with, there is a mask. This woman's holding a mask and a glass of wine and she's surrounded in mushrooms. This card is a card of illusion. So basically what's happening is someone could be wearing a mask in this situation. So it's almost like you know that this person is different than what they are on the surface. Like they're kind of playing a part. I don't know if anyone's ever listened to Avril Lavigne, the Skater Boy song. I think it's Skater Boy. I don't know what song it is, but my sister used to listen to Avril Lavigne. I like Avril Lavigne too, to be honest. But there was this song basically, and she's talking about how this guy's like playing a part and he's not really truly being himself. And he's like himself with her, but with other people, he's not really being himself. What you're noticing is that this person is kind of hiding or holding back, or there's like an illusion there. There's like kind of like a wall of illusion where you can't quite like understand what's going on. There's information that needs to come to light, basically. And with the Hangman, what we're seeing here is this is going to take a while for this information to come to light. It's going to be tricky for this person to explain what this is, whatever it is they're holding back. But really what's going on is they just need to get a different kind of perspective. And that's why I said this relationship is worth the wait, right? Because there is going to be a slight waiting period, right? But this person needs to think in a different viewpoint or a different mindset to really translate that information into, sorry, there's a bird chirping outside and there's birds like landing all around my house. I'm taking that as a sign. This is a very like serendipitous pile. Yeah, but you're going to have to wait for that information to come to light. This is something that they need to work through. It's nothing that like you're doing or that you can do or that anything that's like really affecting, nothing that like you can do to affect this situation, because eventually you will be able to with this balance, spirituality, and practicality, that circular shift that you both have, that energy exchange. It's like a beautiful energy flow within each other, right? If you think of the yin and yang symbol, it's like, you have yin on one hand, and when it like passes through almost like turning into yang, it's like yang becomes its own thing and is still that kind of like aspect of itself, but it has a little bit of yin inside of it, right? You guys are like funneling energy through each other. There's a nice flow. It's a nice, really solid flow. Building blocks can also mean something that takes a lot of time to work through, like step by step, you know? But I'm seeing just with the hangman right here. Let me look at this card, see if I can get any more clues about what's going on. Yeah, in particular with this card, there's these little fairies that are like playing around his head, right? So that just brings me more to this illusion factor, is that there might be kind of like something that they think is true but is not true. Maybe about themselves, maybe I think it's more about how they view the world, because usually when people put on a mask to like pretend to be something they're not, it's because they're seeing the world a specific way and they feel like they have to adapt to the world in that way or have to adapt in that way. But really it's not about the world being so different or changing. It's about their perspective needing to change. And we definitely see that with the hangman. The hangman is all about perspective, you know, hanging from a different position, seeing things from a different angle. So they definitely have that perspective shift they need to get through. With Queen of Wands here, I'm definitely like seeing a very beautiful connection where this is just showing me some things that kind of can like ease the situation right now before you guys get to this kind of like super intense like love relationship. Because right now we have Two of Cups and Queen of Wands, right? That's kind of more the present situation. The Lovers is like way into the future with both of you after the moon energy has cleared. But what we see with the Queen of Wands, like I always love this card because there's two little foxes sitting under a tree and they're hidden, right? Like this big giant human like doesn't know that they're there, but she's just playing a harp like beautifully and harmoniously, and these foxes are just entranced by her music, you know? And it's kind of like together both of you kind of have this wonderful chemistry where you both are kind of attracted to art and beauty, especially in things that are not really noticeable to others. Like if you think of these foxes, they're underground, you know, and they can still hear the music. So it's like both of you are tapped into some kind of secret language or secret code that not everyone else is tapped into. And maybe that's one of the reasons why this person has that mask on, you know, is because maybe because of that specific factor, there's like how do I put this? There's kind of like a disconnect for them in the world. There's less so for you, I'm seeing, that you've already kind of like figured this piece of the puzzle out, but they need to figure it out too. And I think that they have to figure it out on their own is what I'm seeing. But yeah, Two of Cups just shows me and confirms that they kind of have a crush on you. You have a crush on them, but you guys can't, with this mask, this moon energy, there's like information that hasn't come to light yet that's going to really shine a lot of light on the true beauty and love of your connection. This is a very strong connection, especially in the future. So if it hasn't developed in that far yet, don't worry, don't fret. Yeah, definitely. So building blocks, yeah, this person could be a work person. This also means time. So if this person, you didn't meet them at work, don't worry about that too much. But I'm definitely saying that like there's a certain level to your relationship right now that hasn't fully progressed in depth yet. So yeah, that was your reading. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post pick-a cards like this pretty frequently. With that said, we're going to move on to group number 4, the Rose Quartz. Hey, group 4, if you picked the Rose Quartz, welcome to your reading. So let me pull some oracle cards for you to start with. Oh. I always take that card as like an intense, like romantic connection. You know, it's like very passions are stirred and there's a fiery element. And this card, wow. Let's see. Let's see. What about group 4? These cards are kind of flying out. At least. Whoa, how many do we have here? I think we need one more. Oh my gosh. This is like this is like all over the place. Okay. This is a fun connection. I'm definitely feeling like a lot of like energy, a lot of like passion, like a really cool. I think I'll just draw the last one, yeah. Let's see. Ew. Okay. Let's see if we have all those cards in the camera. Okay, let me take a look at this. Okay, I think I got most of this down. There might be a little bit more here that I need to uncover as we go, but for the most part, I think I got this connection, what's going on. Okay, so first of all, there's a strong, I guess, is lusty the right word to put it? It's just like a physical attraction, like a very strong physical attraction that, you know, that is going on with like both of you. So you guys might be really attracted to each other physically. But what we see here is there's like such an interesting dynamic. And it's crazy. It's very, I can see like right off the bat, it might be a little intense, or like if you know this person already and you have communicated with them, like the beginning of the relationship was a little intense, because we have 5 of Cups and 5 of Wands, and it's like two very different energies. With 5 of Cups, you have someone who's like in a pessimistic mindset, kind of like looking at the things that are not going great in their life and kind of down on their luck, like thinking things are like couldn't get better, you know, like kind of like, how do I put this? They're just looking at the negative side of things versus the positive side of things. And it's also a little bit of a grief card. Like you could be going through some kind of grief, or you're processing some kind of loss that you've been through. So what we're seeing here with the 5 of Cups, I'm feeling strongly that this is your energy, and then this is their energy, this 5 of Wands energy. And what we have in between is the 6 of Wands, which is very interesting because that's a card about fame and recognition. And definitely what I'm seeing here is like an interesting combination where this guy with his wand, he's like battling all these foxes. If you look at this and then look at this card, he has this wand raised, and the wand's illuminated, right? His kind of like his weapon of choice, or what he chooses to do battle with, is illuminated. And he's flying through these foxes that are just like tons of foxes overtaking him. And with the 6 of Wands here, he's holding out a wreath, right? Almost like, you can't catch me, you can't get it, you know? And he's trying to like reach up and catch this wreath. So like this person is definitely on a mission. Like there is some kind of like go-getter mission, you know, mission impossible. Like this person is definitely like working for something, and they're trying to achieve it. So because this is the 6 of Wands card, I'm definitely seeing them looking for kind of some form of fame and recognition, some form of popularity. Chances are they're probably gonna get it because they're so determined, right? But 5 of Wands just means that they're kind of like battling people along the way, like kind of like just going against the flow, going against the grain, to like kind of a little bit opposite of like someone who goes with the flow. They're kind of going against the flow. Like they're not afraid to like stand up and go in the direction that's counter to what's going on. And interestingly enough, we see that over here with the 5 of Cups with you is with this person. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. Sorry, I'm probably running off track on something else, but there's definitely an aspect of that you guys are like meant to be together with this higher power card. And I'll get into that in a second. But with the 5 of Cups, we're definitely seeing you kind of like, this person's going to shake you out of your emotions, right? Like they're going to like stir you up. With this fiery climax approaches, there's a definitely intense like collision that's going to happen, right? They're going to be heading on their way to their goals, and they're going to like kind of collide with you a little bit. And you're basically going to be shook out of your depression, is the best way to put it. And it's interesting, that creates like all this new beginning between both of you, and then eventually creates stability. What we see here is it's very unstable emotionally, and kind of like with the sense of will, or with the sense of power that this person has. You have two kind of unstable people, but with this fiery climax approaches, it's it's going to come into, you guys are going to have an explosion, right? When you two connect, it's going to be an explosion. And with higher power here, we're definitely seeing that this connection is guided, right? It's like the perfect chemistry of one thing and another thing. Like, I don't know if you have ever, taken like, I think it's baking soda and vinegar and like made a volcano out of it, and you like pour baking soda and then you pour vinegar on top of it and it just erupts. You know, it's like the perfect chemistry, right? Where both of you kind of like are in your own worlds, not really focusing. Like this person might not be so emotional. They might not kind of have the whole aspect of their feelings under control, and you might not have kind of a sense of willpower. But what we're seeing here is this person's gonna like really ignite that part of you, right? And in doing so, they're gonna receive kind of like this emotional release from you, is the best way to put it. Like once they start, once they encounter you, this climax is basically, it's going to be really cool. It really, we're interestingly enough, once this like explosions happen or this climax, right? We definitely have the Fool and the Emperor, which is just new beginnings and stability, which is very, very cool. So this person definitely, and this is a message to some of you too, if you're nervous about this being too much of an unstable connection, you kind of like this person, but you're like, they're a little, you know, too unstable for me and all of that. What the cards are saying for you is that it's going to end up being a stable connection. It's going to end up with a stability that's going to be very surprising to you, because it almost is like there's almost like I don't know if I'm not getting any cards about fear. This is just something I'm kind of assuming, but it almost seems like there's kind of like this fear factor with this person where you're kind of like a little nervous to approach them, you know? And maybe there's just also this factor with the Five of Cups that you're kind of like not focusing on the good things about this person. You know, you're focusing on the negative things, you know, which is weird because you have this crush on them that you can't really, like, you don't really know why, you just have this crush. And so it's definitely an interesting situation for sure. Wow. And what we're seeing here is this is going to bring both of you a lot of like success, fame, recognition. Definitely when both of you meet as a couple, you guys will probably be pretty popular. So what I'm seeing is that your crush does like you, but they might be a little preoccupied when they first meet you with like their own concerns of like reaching to the top of their profession or their fame or what they want to accomplish. And what we're seeing here is that, but after they meet you, it looks like they really develop some feelings for you. It's interesting because I don't have any cards that actually signify a relationship or cards that signify kind of like a romantic connection. It's almost like you just need to know about the beginning and where the relationship's going to lead. It's almost as if when you came to this pile, you just kind of need to know that this instability right here is going to lead to some new beginnings and some strong security, right? And also this whether this is a karmic connection, whether this is a soulmate, whatever kind of connection this is, it is being guided by a higher power. You guys are meant to find each other. This is kind of destiny. Whatever happens beyond that is for both of you, whatever, you know, for you to decide. But it's definitely something where it's definitely meant to be, for sure. And you guys are really going to push each other to new heights. That's really cool too. So yeah, so if you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, then subscribe to my channel. I post pick-a cards like this pretty frequently. With that said, we're going to move on to the last group number 5 with the blue lace agate. Okay, group number 5, if you picked the blue lace agate, it's such a pretty stone. This one in particular, this is one of the first stones I ever bought, actually. My very first gem and mineral show, I got this blue lace agate. So, whoa, what was that? Let me take this one. Okay. All right, off to the reading. Off to the races. Off to the races. Okay. Whoa. Okay. The cards are all over the place. They are flipping like I'm pretty klutzy when shuffling just in general. But particularly right now, there's like a lot of like intense energy. Maybe from the last pile, because the last pile was a very interesting and intense connection. Wow. You guys, there's a lot of heated elements in here. Okay. Okay, let's get all these into this shot. I'm actually going to pull one more tarot card for this pile just to see what the top oracle cards are about. To clarify that for me for this group. Okay, so let's get into this reading. I think I have what's going on. There's some interesting stuff in here. So first with flexible and the justice card, I'm definitely seeing that with you and your loved ones are safe, there's this combination thing where you're a little worried about something happening to you with the law, and the cards are urging you to remain flexible. This could also be about balance, right? Like flexibility and balance. Like maybe if you're being too stubborn, especially with loved ones, that there needs to be a sense of balance and flexibility to create more harmonious connections within your family, right? And to create that safety net that's going on that needs to happen with your family. It's weird because that's very separate from the actual reading, which is down here. And I'm kind of curious as why that message needed to come out for you guys when there's a whole separate reading about your crush, because we're not doing a reading for that, and this is just very strong message about being flexible with like your loved ones to like make them to keep them safe and have safety, you know. And then also justice is like a karma card too, so it's almost like you need to be flexible with your karma. I know that sounds weird. Hold on. Yeah, there's an aspect of you need to be flexible because what's happening is there's kind of like some karma working itself out. So in a way you have to realize that like sometimes when the justice scales are like balancing, sometimes they go one way or the other way. And what you have to notice is that like sometimes when it's going in one direction or the other direction, kind of like the Wheel of Fortune, but it's a little bit different than this because it's something that you know is going to be happening to you or that is going to happen to you. But it's definitely saying that you and your loved ones are safe. You don't have to worry that whatever you're worried is going to happen or whatever you think bad karma is coming to you, it's actually not going to be that bad. And it's just the cards are urging you to be flexible with it and kind of like take it as it comes and adapt to the situation, you know, because that's what's going to and also balancing out stuff with your loved ones and your family, you know. To like create like more of a harmonious ties within the home, you know. But let's get into your crush reading. I don't know why that message was out there, but I'll just deal with that first, then we'll get into the crush reading. So what we're seeing here with Ace of Wands, this person keeps you very motivated and passionate. And your kind of connection to them is like based on this sense of motivation. You kind of want to, how do I put this? You're curious at what they can provide for you in the realms of like motivation, and they're kind of like someone who's going to get you and stir you up and get you more passionate about life itself. You're kind of looking for that spark or that kind of like fire. What we're seeing here with the three foxes too, I'm definitely noticing that with these three foxes, there's an element of balance or harmony. And this spiral tattoo on this fox just reminds me of like kind of like inevitable. I had this friend once that saw spirals all the time and she just loved spirals, and she said it's all about shaking things up. So I'm definitely seeing that like with this is like there's a sense of shaking things up for harmony that's at play here. So, but what I'm seeing here real quick is that the way you are bestowing love onto this person is you're being really generous with them, right? You're trying to nurture them and watch them grow, especially financially. You're trying to bestow a lot of like financial abundance on this person to kind of like put them in your favor. So you have a crush on them and you're like maybe paying for a lot of stuff for them, or you're helping them out in different situations. And what we're seeing is that actually is helping them out quite a bit. With the Queen of Pentacles, that's like a mother figure, and like in the traditional tarot, she's in a garden and she's looking at this pentacle and she's like treasuring it, right? She's really treasuring the gift that was given to her. And because this is a Six of Pentacles, right? She's even holding it in this card too. She's like holding it up, but in here it's like a little seed, right? This person is really going to take your financial, they're definitely taking your gifts that you're giving them as flirting. So they're definitely on the plus side, they're definitely seeing that as flirting. I'm definitely seeing that this person, it's actually not telling me if they like you too much or not. I'm gonna say they do. But what I'm seeing here is that with the Star card and the Judgment card, this is putting you both on a beautiful path, right? The Star and the Judgment combined is like this great, great energy, right? Where it's like you're being guided through life, you're going through life, you're finding the right path. I'm definitely seeing that it's good that you have a crush on them, because they're really kind of like putting your resources to work in the most positive way. If you think about it here, they're like this big tree of life, right? And they're providing shelter and shade for all those around them. It's just, they just need those little seeds to like keep growing, and what we see here is all these pentacles and stuff makes this plant grow, and they're actually this tree that's fully strong and fully grown right in this picture. So there's definitely a symbiotic relationship between both of you. They're kind of like a little plant, and you're kind of like watering them with resources. And yeah, and they're growing really tall and strong, and that's what that is. They're protecting you and your loved ones, basically, because you're helping them out so much. Wow. This could also indicate a future family for both of you. So there's definitely some information here. I'm not seeing any like too many passionate love cards coming up, but there's definitely a sense of harmony that exists, and there's a sense of practicalness between you and this other person. They're definitely the type of person who's going to provide that nurturing, stable environment for you and your loved ones, right? So if you're worried about that, that's why this is tied into this, is it's helping this situation. You like having a crush on them and showing them affection is actually helping this situation, whatever this is with the balance and being flexible with the karma. It's kind of like this is a tree of purification. They're kind of purifying your karma. The fact that you're giving them such good karma and helping them is kind of easing the bad karma in your life, and it's kind of like, it's just rebalancing things, and it's good to be flexible, because what I see here with this Queen of Pentacles person is they can only take so many gifts at once. They're definitely the type of person who really nurtures every little single thing they've been given. And I'm definitely seeing here with this Six of Pentacles card, you're just kind of like constantly giving them things. So there is a little warning to kind of slow down and kind of give them what they can handle when they can handle it. But what we see here is what this does for both of you, and what it does for you specifically is the Star card, right? We have the Star card is all about that North Star, following your North Star. I think of a direction. The star is represented by Aquarius. I also think of like aquamarine, and like when I use aquamarine, it always points me in different directions to go. For me, it's a directional stone. So I'm definitely seeing the fact that like you're on the right path. You're like, the more that you help this person, the more you're going to be on the right path. So your crush, there's a reason for your crush. There's a reason why you like this person, and you kind of want them to motivate you. You want them to kind of like stimulate you. And so you're kind of like putting an investment towards this person is what I'm seeing. And then they're kind of growing tall and strong and really nurturing those gifts and really respecting and appreciating everything that you give them to such a high degree. This person's very appreciative, very gracious, and very good at getting their environment around them to flourish, right? So they might have that effect on you and your loved ones, eventually, or now if they're involved with your loved ones or they're near your people that you love, they might have this kind of effect of protecting all of them, where everyone kind of feels a little bit safer. And then the Judgment card with the Star card just means that like you're on your path to this kind of like great, good judgment. Judgment's being read very literally here. So if you had poor judgment in the past, like what I saw earlier was that you might have accumulated some negative karma. So maybe you're the type of person who gets into some sticky situations and you're like, you don't mean to, but you do. And you're kind of like, well, I'm already here, so I might as just go with it, go through with it. Well, this is what this is telling you, is this is going to help you develop this kind of like judgment. And Judgment card is also a card about following your own true self, not following what kind of like the people around you are, and being awakened to your true calling and passion. I've had a time period in my life where I drew the Judgment card, and it was I felt very uplifted, and I knew where I was going. I knew what I was doing. It was like such a strong pull to like my own inner truth. So I definitely see that coming through for you right here, especially with the Star card upright. It's kind of pointing you in that direction. So this relationship, even though it's going to be a little bit, I'm definitely seeing a little bit more of a long-term progression where it's going to take some time to get through all these things. But by the end of it, you become kind of this different person, and for the better, right? You're going to balance out these scales, you know, the karma scales that are coming or being in this, oh my gosh. You're going to balance out the scales of karma that you've kind of tipped in a direction that's not in your favor, and they'll tip back, and it'll be more of a balanced, harmonious type of deal. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing such a really good connection with this person. This relationship might be karmic. I don't know. But this person's definitely in your family life, in your family sphere. This person's really going to be close with you and the ones that you love. They're going to really be helping you out in that department. So that's really good. It's really good stuff. So if you like the reading, you can like or comment below. Oh yeah, that's it for the reading. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this pretty frequently. With that said, we're going to end the readings there. I will say goodbye to you all, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you for watching. See you later. Bye.